Hello all, how are we doing? Hope you're all keeping well and you're having a good week. Today's video is all about the future of Antonio Conte at Tottenham Hotspur. If you follow me on social media or you're on social media at all and follow some of the Spurs aggregator accounts and journalist accounts, you would have seen articles starting to surface that Antonio Conte is in talks with the club to extend his contract to stay at Spurs until the summer of 2025. Now, as you know, Conte, an elite tier manager, was brought in on the 2nd of November 2021, replacing Nuno after a pretty shambolic 6 months for Spurs, all in all, which culminated in the sacking of Nuno. I don't know if you remember last summer, but, they spent, well, it was even before that, right up since February last year when they sacked Jose Mourinho. This managerial hunt was pathetic. Plainly speaking, they tried to go for Conte. Conte wasn't quite ready to join a club, or so he said, after leaving Inter Milan. They wanted Gattuso, that all fell through. They wanted Fonseca, that fell through. I think there was a couple of others, wasn't there? Like Graham Potter held talks with the club, but nothing materialised. Lucien Favre as well. But yeah, in the end, they went for Nuno. Started off well, but it tailed off, and I think that the whole Nuno project just didn't work. When you're promised the likes of Antonio Conte and you end up, with all due respect to Nuno, who was a really nice guy, but just wasn't in the same stratosphere as Antonio Conte in terms of coaching credentials, it never quite worked, did it? And then obviously you had the Harry Kane saga. Would he go to City, wouldn't he? He ended up staying through a bit of a strop, I think everybody can agree with. And it just went very, very wrong very, very quickly. It started to unravel. They got Conte in on an original 18-month deal until the summer of 2023. The club have an option in that contract to extend for another year, which I think they're going to do regardless. They're not going to let him walk away in 6 months' time, are they? And obviously Conte has taken the club and dragged them somehow into Champions League football. I mean, if you have a look at that team that we actually had last season, it was heavily reliant on Sonny and Kane firing them to the top four, as well as Antonio Conte implementing his style. They somehow did it. They beat Arsenal to the post, and they have kicked on this summer. As everybody knows, Antonio Conte is a extremely, incredibly demanding manager from the board. He wants a very, very specific profile of player, which do not come cheap. Obviously, he has this 3-4-3 system with the wing backs, and the players that he signs must have certain attributes and certain characteristics to play his style of football. Obviously, in the summer, we flew out of the traps, something that we never ever do under Daniel Levy. But obviously, with Fabio Paratici, who is the sporting director now, and Antonio Conte, they got the players they wanted in very, very early before the South Korean pre-season tour. Obviously, players like Ivan Perisic from Inter Milan, Yves Bissouma, Richarlison, Jed Spence, there's a couple of others, Clement Longley, Fraser Forster. I think that might be it. Somebody might scream at me that I've missed someone. But yeah, we signed some real proven Premier League quality there, like Richarlison and Bissouma, two high-level Premier League players. That is classic Conte. He knows what he wants. He demands the club goes out and gets them. I don't necessarily think that Conte was over the moon that it ended just at the 6 players that we bought in pre-season. I think he definitely wanted a right wing back. Obviously, we were linked with Adama Traore for a very, very long time. There were a couple of other right wing backs that we were linked to as well, but nothing happened in that spot apart from Jed Spence. But I said on my live stream on Friday that Jed Spence was not a Conte signing. He was definitely a club signing. And Conte's comments off of that regarding the right wing back situation with Matt Doherty and Jed Spence just goes to show that he wants a right wing back. So this is the problem it's not a problem, but this is what we have moving forward. If we do decide to try and tie down Conte for another 2 years, 2.5 years until the summer of 2025, there is talk that this is going to be a £20 million a season deal, so 60 million quid in wages overall. A, that's a very big outlay regardless, but B, if it goes wrong and we have to pay him off, It's a very expensive cheque that Daniel Levy is going to be writing to Antonio Conte. And that is one of the risks that you get when you hire someone like him with the elite mentality, the elite reputation. But if it goes wrong, it goes very, very wrong. Just ask Inter Milan, just ask Chelsea. So yeah, it's interesting to see the gamble that Spurs will be taking with Conte, because when you sign a manager like that, you don't just sign him for results on the pitch. He has come in and he has changed the entire ethos of the club, the way the club operate, the way the club behave in the transfer market. This is a massive thing, and this is what Conte is dragging this club into. It's all evolved. The club has been moulded and has been shaped into what him and Paratici want, and it simply has to work. There is so much money on the line here, players on massive contracts, players like Ivan Perisic, a 34-year-old left-back on 160 grand a week. When has Daniel Levy and Spurs ever made a decision like that before? It never ever happens. But this is what they're doing for Antonio Conte. They know they've got a special manager there and they're backing him to the hilt. So yeah, it's interesting to see if he does sign this deal. Obviously, we're moving in the right direction under him. There's absolutely no doubt about it. Yes, the football at times isn't great at all, but we're third in the league after 11 games. We've only lost one game this season. He is going to get us challenging for trophies. Also, in that Republica article regarding the contract extension, there is a promise that has been made by Daniel Levy that he will be giving Antonio Conte another £200 million in transfer fees. I suppose I hate this phrase, but you could call it a war chest. He's promised him 200 million again to go out and sign players and mould the squad even more. I know that Conte is not happy with the squad. He said that he needs several windows to bring in real quality, which is a bit of a kick in the nuts to the players that are already there, isn't it? But it's just what he does. He pushes players. He wants the players in that he wants. I think that we'll probably try and target a central midfielder, a right wing back and a centre back in the next couple of windows. I know we've been linked with Alessandro Bastoni and Josko Gvardiol, two left-footed centre halves. Don't see Clement Longley as a long-term Conte left-footed centre half, but yeah, let's see what happens. If he does sign up for another 2.5 years, obviously it's really good news, but it's expensive news as well. So let me know your thoughts on it. We'll see what happens. Spurs have got Man United at Old Trafford in the 8:15 kickoff tonight in the Premier League. Huge game. I hate playing Man United at Old Trafford. Spurs never seem to really do very well there, but we'll see how it goes. Let me know your thoughts on the Conte contract extension. Easy for me to say. Subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content, and follow me on my social media. Until next time, I'll see you later. Enjoy your week. Thanks a lot, guys.